Hello, it's me from the future, and I've just fitted these Z1 boost pipes to my 1992 Nissan 300ZX twin turbo and replaced the PCV valves. Stick around to see how I did it. For any fuel injected car to run, you need fuel, spark and air. And the fuel and air, that needs to be at the correct ratio, and it's also heat dependent to an extent, and the spark has to be in time. All this is done by various sensors on the car telling the ECU what is happening. Starting here, we have the mass flow air sensor. This senses the amount of air coming in from the air filter, and it also senses the temperature. So when you open the throttle bodies, there's a sensor there what tells the ECU what position your foot is, but this here will then suck in air. It'll come in through this system here, which is going back up here, it's going back down to turbo, and then it's coming back round to here. So basically, if this is telling the ECU that X is coming in, this system has got to be fully sealed. Otherwise, if there's any kind of break in any of the system here, what will happen is air will get out or get in, and the amount of air that the ECU thinks it's getting will be different to what it is getting, and the air to fuel ratio will be incorrect. Which brings me to this. That there, wow, we call that a vacuum leak. So there's probably going to be quite a few people on YouTube who are just going to show you these taken off and say it's a piece of piss. It's not. First of all, I've had to undo a little bolt here to give this a bit slight more movement because there's nowhere to move. This was pretty seized on there and there. So, and the Jubilee clip, yeah, that's a bit, it doesn't go any further back that way, it's kind of broken. So what you do is you loosen off what you can of the Jubilee clip and that one, and then you twist it side to side like this to kind of get it loose, and then it's kind of a case of working it out. So that's off that end, and that's off that end. So that end's not bad, but yeah, I think we're going to conclude that that's also a vacuum leak. So now we've got those two boost hoses off, now we can see a few things. Now is a good time to talk about the PCV system, which is positive crank ventilation. So in a combustion engine, obviously the fuel goes in, the spark ignites the fuel, and the piston gets shoved right back down. And the piston has got to be able to move in the cylinder. So it has piston rings, but there is a very, very small gap around the piston rings, and obviously some of that pressure is going to get past that gap on the piston rings, and it's going to end up down in the crankcase down below. That's called blow-by, that is. And that pressure, well, if the crankcase was a completely sealed unit, basically the pressure would build up and you blow the crankcase out and blow gaskets here, there and everywhere. So what you have to do is you have to vent the crankcase. Now back in the olden days, you used to just put a vent out and you just shove all that out into the atmosphere before Greta Thunberg was on the scene and nobody cared. But then obviously emissions and bits and pieces like that came in and people started caring about the environment. So what they decided, it was best, rather than screw the environment up, it is best to just, you know, screw your car up. So what they do is the vent comes out somewhere in the oil system. In the case of the Nissan 300ZX, it comes out right down here. There's two outlets from the one at the rocker cover on this side, because the rocker cover is part of the oil system, and so is the crankcase. So it is all basically all in the same system. And then that comes out in a hose, this hose here from one side, which goes in here, and that basically puts those gases go back into the plenum, which is the air system here, and it gets added into the air system. And on the other side, there's those what goes all the way around the back, and it comes around here and it goes in this system. And you've got these PCV valves here which open and close when they should do, allegedly, which basically controls when that happens. Now on this on the 300ZX, it's slightly different to the cars. You've got an extra one here, so you've got this system here what also comes out, and this goes down here, and it basically puts it into these down here, the accordion hoses. You can see it better on this side here. So on this car, the air comes in here, goes either direction, and it goes down here, and it goes basically through this hose here to the turbo, then out of the turbo up this accordion hose, and it goes all round here through the intercoolers, but my intercoolers here, it's a front mount, but if you've got the side mount it's there. Then it comes back up this pipe, it goes into the throttle body. Well, the PCV system is adding these gases, these blow-by gases. On this particular car, it's this pipe here, it's coming down there, it's coming down, and it's put it into this accordion hose, so it's after the turbo. So basically you're adding these gases here, and they are coming down here, and they're going through the intercooler, and then they're coming up here and they're going into there. Now if they're just gases, that's absolutely fine, but in your crankcase you've got oil, and when you've got pressure from gases, if you've got oil, it's going to blow that oil, some of that oil, through that system as well. So what happens over a period of time is the oil, there is a very small amount of oil in the gases, and it's going to get put in here, either through this bit or through the PCV valves. And then what happens when you get oil and it goes in your cylinders? Well, oil doesn't burn as well as fuel, and then you get a carbon build up, which then coats all your valves up with carbon, and then you start having misfires and you start getting detonation and stuff like that. So that's why over years you'll end up having to have like a carbon clean. And also the other thing that can happen is your PCV valves down here, they can get stuck, and when they get stuck they don't operate when they're supposed to operate, and then this thing sort of happens when it feels like. And on my car, what's been happening is occasionally when I've been out for a drive and I'll get a bit of welly, I'll get an oil burning smell, and it's specifically over this side of the engine, not over there. And when I changed all the plugs in here, which you have to take the core packs out, you have to take this balance tube off to get the back core packs out to get the plugs in. But when I took this balance tube out, in here there was oil. Now that oil in there has got to have come from the PCV system. So I'm figuring that this valve on this side is basically sticking, so I've got some new valves. Then obviously anything what's gone there is going to end up in the throttle body there, and out of here as well, and into the throttle body there. So it's over a long period of time, that is not good for your engine. So the long-term plan will be to do a not a PCV delete, because you've got to deal with the blow-by, but to put some catch can system in which catches the oil and then just vents the gases without the oil in it. But anyway, before we get to changing my new PCV valve replacements, we're going to continue with this, and we're going to get these ones off. So same principle here as it was with this. You undo the Jubilee clip down there, which I've already done, and the Jubilee down here, and then this will be seized on and this will be seized on because it's a 30-odd-year-old car. So what you need to do is give it a bit of a twist about. That should be bolted on up there, but it's not. And then that should free it off, and then it's a case of finding yourself some real estate to get your pipe out. Yeah, that's oily. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad, that one. Yeah, there's no vacuum leaks there, but it's a bit oily. So yeah, went ahead, got that side off as well, so we got both of them off. Now in here, this is the out from the turbo, the outlet from the turbo, which is obviously going back down to the intercoolers and then back up into the throttle bodies. It's quite well, it's just in this lip really. Probably not actually as bad as I thought it was. There's a fair bit of oil in here. There seems to be more this end as well. Mind you, I don't think it's that much. But then over this side, there's hardly any. So, let me know in the comments whether you think I need a new turbo or whether that's kind of a reasonable oil build up for a 30-odd-year-old car. So, what we got here is a recently shipped from America box of goodies from Z1. So, I've got the replacement these hoses. These ones are for here. Not sure what side they go on yet. We'll work that one out. And these ones are for here. And they also come with the clips. Now if I brought the rubber ones like that from Nissan, they're £400 odd plus the VAT, and they're a back order. These from Z1 basically shipped, arrived in the UK with all these clips and a couple of PCV valves, which the PCV valves from Nissan are like £45 each plus VAT on back order. They're $18 each, Z1. Basically the whole lot arrived here, £150. So I've got all the hoses, all the clips, and I've got the PCV valves as well. These here, Z1 do these either in the black, in the blue or red. As you'll see, I've already got some blue silicone on the car as it is, with blue accents, but I went for the black because I think you could probably have too much of a good thing, and the original ones were black. But let me know in the comments whether you think maybe I should have gone for blue or whether black was the right choice. Also, now's probably a time to say, if you do like to see work on cars and car shows and stuff like that, please consider subscribing because it helps the algorithm on the channel. Anyway, let's get these on. So we're going to go with these two outer ones first because they'll be in the way of those ones if we do it the other way around, I think. And yeah, it takes a little while to work out which one goes which side and which way round they go. So work that out first, put them in the position that they're going to go on. So then your Jubilee clips, you get 2 fat ones, and then you get 6 smaller ones. Now the outer parts, what we're doing first, they have a smaller one on each end, and then these parts here, as you can see, it's got a fat end and a thin end. So you've got the fat ones for the throttle body end of it, and then you've got the thinner ones for the other end. So what we've done is we've put the Jubilee clips on very loosely in the positions they want to be. Just slide them back a bit, and then we're going to try and get this to go on here, like so. And then over here, this one's going to be more awkward. Like so. So we just get it back where it should be. The good thing about not cleaning your engine bay is you get a clean bit where the original was, so you know where it should be. So yeah, they're on. Check it's all on properly. Find a hard part to put the Jubilee clip over and tighten them up. That sensor's right in the blooming way. So for these as well, because well, I'm going to fit that before we fit that, but I've fitted that, so I'm going to do this side. What you need to do, because these are slightly different, they've got different angles and different lengths, one slightly shorter and different angle. So what you need to do is line them up, work out which one goes which side, and then exactly the same thing. You get your Jubilee clips, you get the smaller one at the bottom and the fatter one at the top, and you're going to put these in a position like so, and then we're going to attempt to get this on. Let's go down there. This is really awkward. We'll bend it back so you don't get the lip on the thing, and then get it to go into position. And it goes right up to that sort of piece there to say it's on properly. So then what you can do is you can fix your Jubilee clip. Must come out hopefully. Yep, that's going to fix, that's good. So yeah, slightly tighten that. So what you need to do is then get that, so work out where it wants to be on the throttle body, about there. So that's on. So they're all on, these are on, these are on. Quick review, they look nice and shiny. The rest of the engine bay sort of lacking a bit now. Yeah, the silicone's obviously more durable and more flexible, so they're quite easy to get on. Obviously I've gonna solve my vacuum leak there and there, which is a good thing. Yeah, got dirty already, look. And the other thing what's good about these is they're not so bulky as the original ones. Obviously the internal diameter is the same, or maybe bigger, but obviously externally they fit a bit better, so it's not pushing right up against that. And this loom here, you can get that in and out a bit easier as well, so that's the Brucey bonus as well. So yeah, they are like quarter the price of the original rubber Nissan ones, which just go brittle over age and then, you know, fall apart and give you vacuum leaks, whereas these are obviously a nice refresh and it's going to solve the vacuum leaks and they're going to last a very long time. So yeah, very happy with those. Anyway, onwards and upwards, we are now going to fit the PCV valves. So to fit the PCV valves, these should be fairly simple. You just got to take the hose off, which is your Jubilee clip, so undo that, pull that off, and then this here is basically I believe a 17mm spanner. I recommend a ring spanner. So once you've got this off, you should be able to get the ring spanner on there, and that should obviously just come off, but it's been on there 30 years probably, so we'll see. So yeah, we've undone the Jubilee clip, so ignore that, that's my lambda sensor what's not plugged in. So you should just be able to pull that off. Hopefully there's not going to be a load of oil popping out of it. Yep, so that's off there. So what you need is a 19mm spanner, not a 17, and you need to put it on here and turn this. However, like I said, it's been on 30 years, it ain't coming off. So I was anticipating that. Try and spray into the threads here a little bit of a WD-40. So what we've done, we've decided to do the other side first because it's going to move and that one wasn't at the moment. So what you got here is, this is a short hose. It goes from that there, which is on the rocker, which is right down there, you probably can't see it, it's very dark, there's a flange around there anyway, what this goes on the end of, and then goes over there to the PCV valve. Well, this little pipe there, the Jubilee clip on the end what goes over that side, well, it was just sitting loose and not tightened up, so that's possibly what my problem might have been, because it would have like some kind of vacuum leak and not operate the valve properly, perhaps. Anyway, to get that off, that's very awkward access, so what you do have is you have this which goes on there, so I recommend if you take this off and put it over here, you can get a slight bit more access. So we've got a 19mm spanner on there. I put some WD-40 on earlier. We'll just give that a spanner, it'll tap with this one to hopefully try and free it off a bit, because you've got no room to manoeuvre that, because I mean fuel filter's right in the way. So that is freeing off. It's just got no manoeuvrability whatsoever. Maybe we can get it round the other way, we can kind of get a little bit more room there. So what you'll find, every time you swap your spanner around from that side to that side and try and put it on, it's going to slip over and end up this side of the bolt, and then you ain't going to get it back over the bolt, and you have to go like this, and it's going to be an absolute pain in the backside. That's normal. Anyway, it's in as far as it's going in, because they weren't fully in before, but I assume that there's enough thread in there that it doesn't need to be fully in. So what we need to do now is get this little geezer back on there. If you can remember which way around it went, I think the little curvy bit goes on that side at the back. So yeah, we're just going to fiddle around getting this geezer in here now and on there, which is going to be absolute pain in the backside. So that's on there, and we'll get it. Yeah, that'll be the camera. We've got to get it on this one as well. It's a alright little short ass thing. Right, so that's that. I've got to get it over there. So it's on the PCV valve, like so, and it's on that in a fashion. I'm pretty sure this hose probably isn't long enough. I'm just going to slacken that up. Yeah, there's a reason why they didn't tighten that, I guess. Of course, you can't blooming get to it very well. Well, that's done it. So now it's a case of 20 million turns of this in various directions. Well, got that one out, and yeah, that one's full of oil. So yeah, if you look right down there, I don't know if you can see it, the bottom of that blue pipe there where it comes out of the turbo, it's quite oily down there. So comments, yeah, comments please, but I think that turbo might not be too good. So yeah, screwed in the new little geezer there. So we've just got to get the hose back on now, which will be fun, he says. So line up the Jubilee clip, get that one out of the way, out there. Yep, and she's on. So yeah, this one round here, this Jubilee clip is not going on because this hose needs to go on there about another 3 or 4 mil, and it's not long enough because whoever made it didn't make it long enough. So I'm gonna have to get some silicone pipe and make another hose for that, and then hopefully we'll be able to get the Jubilee clip on properly. So, moment of truth, will it start? Yeah. So yeah, just stuck a tenner in. If you'd like to see me stick a full tank in, please hit that subscribe button, and then we can get monetized if we get 1,000 subscribers, and then I'll be able to have a full tank. Definitely a lot smoother in the lower revs, a lot less hesitation in the lower rev range, because I was definitely getting a bit of that before, so I'm pretty sure there's definitely some vacuum leaks around those throttle bodies. Now we can change down to second to higher revs and we boot it. the video. If you found this useful, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.